Hello everybody. I am so sorry for all of you who left comments underneath this video the first time. We had over 200 comments and almost 3,400 views, and I apologize guys, but I made a big boo-boo, an oops, and so I had to fix it. And it was something, the pictures didn't match up with what we were saying later in the video, and so I had to fix that, and I couldn't do it through the YouTube editor because it had been produced and the pictures were stuck right embedded in the video, so I just had to go back to the editing program and redo it. So like I said, I apologize. And also I am adding the statement that saysorry.org has posted on their website. I'm going to put the link down below to all of that. And once again, thank you so much to all of you who made all those great comments. And I tried to save them, but I just wasn't able to. And I felt it was more important to get the pictures the screenshots to line up with what we were saying, because we're talking about something totally different, and then boom, a subliminal image pops up that has nothing to do with what we're saying. So anyway, enjoy the video.
Then there are many lies of a personal nature that people express in everyday life. A businessman may get a phone call but tell his secretary to answer the caller by saying he's not in. This may be considered a small lie. There are small lies, big lies, and malicious lies. A child may have broken something, but when asked initially, out of fear of punishment, denies having done it. This does not make the child a malicious liar. In contrast, what if an entrepreneur tells his bookkeeper to falsify the entries in the books in order to save on taxes? This lying to the tax office is certainly a serious lie. It is a deliberate attempt to mislead somebody that has the right to know. It also robs the government of what they have established as legal income. We can see that not all lies are the same. There are small lies, big lies, and malicious lies. Satan is a malicious liar. He is the champion of the lie. Since Jehovah hates liars, we should avoid all lies, not just big or malicious lies.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So much for a rest day.
Yeah.
Gotta go to work.
Yep. Well, you take the lead and I'll just kind of chime in whenever the spirit moves me.
Well, I am going to start with the Watchtower's statement to the Project TV. Now, before I start reading just a small portion of Watchtower's statement, because we've already covered the entire thing, I just want to say that this video is for all of you abuse survivors who don't have a voice right now and who cannot come forward. And so this video we're going to dedicate to you guys, and this is why we're doing this, giving a voice to all of you. Because Laura, thank you so much, because she asked this question, and it's like, you're right, you're absolutely right. And to put the two together, wow. See, we're not done with Watchtower yet. And Watchtower, you want to know why all of us activists are speaking out and you call us apostates? Because whistleblowers, until you stop breaking apart families and all of this, and change your child abuse policies and report all of them to the police, you don't care. You don't care. And we have something here that proves you don't care. It doesn't matter what you say in a statement to the TV program, in media. We have proof.
See, and what we want to eventually accomplish in all of this is letting the non-Jehovah Witness world understand how Watchtower actually operates behind closed doors, because they're more than just, the neatly dressed people knocking at your door on any given day saying, "If you heard the good news of the kingdom," it's much, much more than that. In fact, it's actually sinister. It really, really is. And I know that there's a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses out there that think that there's a lot of good Jehovah's Witnesses inside the organization. But the fact remains, whether they're good Jehovah's Witnesses, good people or not, they all used and still use the control mechanism to bring you into the organization, which makes you a potential victim. Now, whether that potential victim is a victim of child sexual abuse, whether that potential victim is a victim of spousal abuse, and they all become victims of spiritual abuse. Let's not forget that, because even myself, as a practicing Jehovah Witness, I use that Bible to victimize people's minds. I can live with that because that's the control mechanism. So it's this whole Watchtower story is much, much, much bigger than just the child abuse, than just, the spousal abuse, more than just the spiritual abuse. Stop and think about this for just a moment, friends. We all know what happened to the Jim Jones cult. That's historical fact. Just imagine for a moment if YouTube was in place prior to that tragedy. How many less victims could there have been? How many less?
Good point, dear.
Could there have been if this mechanism, YouTube,
could have warned them? And that's all we're trying to do, is warn the public.
Because the victims that Watchtower keeps throwing out to the public is endless. The only way it's going to end is when our governments will finally find the courage to stand up and say enough is enough with these religious cults that are ripping apart families, that are destroying children's lives. When they stop letting religious cults like Watchtower get away with BS statements that infer, but they do care. They are concerned. But yet right in front of the Australian Royal Commission, you can see very plain they don't care. All they care about is the face of the Watchtower organization. That's all they care about, and they will lie to save face. In fact, they call it spiritual warfare. Hey, Watchtower, a lie is a lie is a lie is a lie. I don't care what you preface it with. Spiritual warfare dictates we lie. You are from your father, the devil, because he was a liar when he began, and so is this organization.
Now, for those of you who cannot see my sign back here, it said Kids Lives Matter. And, like I said, this video is, for all of you. All of you. All right, this is the Watchtower statement to the Australian Project TV, and I'm not sure if they sent it to the Redress Scheme Committee or not, but this was a public statement. This was on the Project TV's website. Page 1. Right after they say the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses does not have the institutional settings that the voluntary national redress scheme is designed to cover, and just in our video the other day we asked, well then how are you distributing all of this food? Okay, this is what I want to focus on. Jehovah's Witnesses have responded and will continue to respond directly to individual claims for redress in a caring, fair, and principled manner, taking into consideration the unique circumstances of each claim. The religion of Jehovah's Witnesses also provides spiritual comfort and assistance to child abuse victims and their families.
Okay, their Jehovah's Witnesses is not an apostate-driven lie. That's an admission. See, right there, Jehovah's Witnesses have responded, past tense, showing that they've had a problem, and will continue to respond directly to individual claims. Individual claims of what? Child abuse, because that's what this is all about. So you have an admission of guilt.
They admit it.
You admit it in your statement right here, taking into consideration the unique circumstances. Unique circumstances, Watchtower, unique. You are not unique as far as child abuse and pedophilia goes. You're not unique.
Maybe they mean unique as to how they handle it.
Well, behind closed doors, to where the congregation doesn't know that when somebody's disfellowshipped, the reasons for the disfellowshipping. See, you want to keep it all secret, and we have the admission of guilt to show you friends later.
Well, let's just play the one clip. This is from the Australian Royal Commission hearings, and it's disturbing. Listen carefully to what this JW elder admits about how they handle the pedophiles and how they truly care about the members of the congregation and those in the world on protecting them from pedophiles.
So if you're not satisfied that this person will not offend again, then you won't reprove. You'll disfellowship.
Yes.
And when the person's disfellowshipped, they then can still attend meetings and so on, but under some restriction, is that right?
Under a lot of restrictions.
Yes. And members of the congregation cannot associate with them socially.
Socially or spiritually.
Yes. But the person is still otherwise in the world and can associate with people outside of the church.
Yes.
And you don't take into consideration, do you, how people outside of the church might be kept safe from such a person whom you're not satisfied will not reoffend?
If they were outside the church and they were a close friend, I would tell them.
Well, and how would you know if they're a close friend and they're outside of the church?
If they were a close friend of mine.
A close friend of yours?
If I was.
Yes.
If I associated with them.
What about people who are not close friends of yours, others than outside of the church? You don't take any steps, do you, to protect them from this potential reoffending? You don't, do you? You're concerned with the congregation
Yeah,
principally, aren't you?
we're concerned with the congregations. We are shepherds of the congregation.
Yes, and you're not a shepherd to those who are not in the congregation.
No.
And as an organisation, in your experience, you don't seek to protect or take care of children who are outside of the congregation.
That's a broad statement.
Well, I can limit it.
Yeah, limit it,
In your
please.
decision on whether or not to disfellowship someone, you don't take consideration of children outside of the congregation.
Do take consideration of them, but what ability have we got to protect every child in Australia.
Well, what you can do is you can report to the child protection authorities.
And that is done in some cases.
But generally it's not done, is it?
No.
It's not done unless there's a legal requirement for it to be done, is there?
That is true.
So many disturbing things in that clip. I mean, my goodness.
Well, you hear it right from there. See, this is the contradiction that is the Jehovah's Witnesses. See, they'll tell you when they knock on your door on any given morning, you know, have you heard the good news of the kingdom? No, what's the good news of the kingdom? That Jehovah is going to do away with wickedness. And then you get sucked into studying the Bible with these Jehovah's Witnesses. You are led to believe that they're giving a public warning of the impending destruction from Jehovah. See, they go from door to door warning the wicked so they don't incur any blood guilt. They don't incur the shame of God when God brings Armageddon. So they are out there warning the public. But as you heard, when it comes to child abuse and throwing someone out of the congregation, where's that public warning at that point in time? There is none.
They don't even tell their own members that there is a pedophile in their congregation. So they won't even warn the parents.
So look at the hypocrisy. You'll go from door to door, warn the wicked that God's about to kill them, but you do nothing to warn the communities that you live in that you just threw out a child abuser.
And you know what happens when someone at the door out in the public or community brings up the child abuse issue? 9 times out of 10, the Jehovah's Witness will tell them that is fake news, that is media lies, that it really doesn't exist. So think about how this looks to the public when they see all of these news reports and knows there's a problem within not just Jehovah's Witnesses, but almost every single religious organization out there.
See, and this is the fear that has been indoctrinated into the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses, because they keep hearing their governing bodies saying, oh, these are apostate-driven lies. See, these are lies coming from Satan's media. These are lies, these are lies, these are lies. They're afraid to go and watch the Australian Royal Commission and see right from the mouth of these elders. They're afraid to see right from the mouth of Jeffrey Jackson that there is a admission of guilt. They're afraid to watch these because then their eyes will have been opened to just how horrific this problem truly is among Jehovah's Witnesses.
Now down below I'm going to put a link to these hearings that a YouTube channel has, so that if you have not heard them yet, and if you don't have time to watch all of them, because it's just shocking from beginning to end, but if you don't have time to watch all of them, at least watch day 8 of Jeffrey Jackson's testimony. There's 2 parts to that. You know, so if nothing else, at least just listen to those. And this YouTube channel, I believe it's Jake Control, he used to have clips of more shocking stuff, you know, so if you don't want to watch all, you know, all those hours and hours, then, you know, he does have clips. And we know those Jehovah's Witnesses who are brave enough and want to hear it for themselves, who are listening to this Australian Royal Commission. It's still doing its job.
Yeah, it is.
And waking them up, because we still get many, many emails of Jehovah's Witnesses waking up. And guess what? Most of the time it is the Australian Royal Commission.
Yeah, because they're seeing firsthand the lies that Watchtower is telling. See, that actually goes beyond all the lies, the flip-flop of doctrines that they put in their articles.
Because we have this on video. Under testimony, they swore on their own Bible to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So, when you see Jeffrey Jackson swear upon, your gray silver sword, and then turn around and tell a lie, he's telling a lie to God.
If this was biblical times, the
He'd be
Holy Spirit would have struck him dead.
Yeah, right. The living Holy Spirit would have struck him dead.
Yeah. Now, we have another clip here to show how Jehovah Witness organization, the hierarchy, really feel about the child abuse survivors.
Why is it that we have records management now? We've been functioning as an organization for years. Well, we know that the scene of this world is changing, and we know Satan's coming after us, and he's going to go for us legally. We can see by the way things are shaping up. So the organization has said, we've run into difficulties in the past because of the records we have. So the coordinators committee said, we want a systematic way to handle records in all branches.
Not only for the person involved, but for the whole congregation. It would have repercussions that would flow through.
And the matter was reported to you because you were in a position of responsibility?
Yes.
Did you take any notes?
No, I didn't.
Can you help us?
I may have done at the time, I'm sorry, but...
You may have done.
I may have, but...
Where are they now?
They would have been destroyed.
Why?
We don't like to have any notes outside of what's kept on file in the congregation.
Why don't you like to have notes of a serious allegation?
There are brief notes kept in the file, but all other notes are destroyed.
Why is that?
I guess it's because we don't want them to fall into the wrong hands of other people to find them and go through them.
What are the wrong hands?
Well, we don't want our wives knowing what our stuff, what sort of things we're dealing with. We don't want other people in the congregation coming across that information.
So you want to keep it secret to the elders, is that what it amounts to?
I don't know about secret, but we want to try and limit the amount of people that have to have a look at that information, yes.
And why is it that you want to limit the people who will have access to the information?
Just to protect them, I guess. And we don't...
Protect who?
Protect the person that's involved in it and the rest of the congregation, so that they don't have to know these... I don't know, it's just the protocol that we've had in, so we'll just follow that information.
And would you do the same thing today if someone came and reported to you a serious allegation of sexual assault? Would you destroy any notes?
Yes, that's our practice.
And what about telling other authorities? Are you aware of your obligations if someone tells you of a serious allegation of sexual assault?
If we have any hesitation, we contact the branch for advice on how we should proceed legally and scripturally. We don't we don't report it to the police. I think we encourage them to do that, but we give them the assistance to do that if they need that.
How do you encourage people to report to the police?
My understanding's a little bit unclear because I've never had to do it, so I'm not fully aware on the process, but if it did come to me, I would be just saying, this is a matter that you need to talk to the police about, or the legal authorities, and pursue it that way.
So do you understand? They are destroying notes and evidence that they hear in these judicial hearings. So like, if a child abuse survivor grows up and then they want to sue Watchtower and they're trying to get all this information, well, some of these things that have been destroyed, they can't recover those. They can't subpoena them.
That's right. There's no evidence to subpoena because they've destroyed the evidence. Only an organization with a truly, truly wicked heart would do that.
Exactly. Exactly. So, the point we're just trying to make is for Watchtower to make this statement that they deal with these survivors in a fair, caring, and loving manner and want to help them. No, they're doing everything possible to shut them up.
That's exactly what it translates to
And
shut them up.
We're going to keep hollering this from the top of the mountains until they change this policy. When we hear that they are openly calling the authorities on each and every child abuse case, then we'll stop harping on this.
Well, the thing is, from Watchtower's perspective, this game has been over for a very long time. They just don't know when to, surrender. Because even if they do change their internal policies, even if they do get rid of some of their, their shunning thing and the disfellowshipping, you friends have got to recognize the damage is already done. A religious organization, a religious business such as Watchtower cannot recover from this. They can't do it.
Well, not only that, but all the thousands and thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that have committed suicide because of their policies and their beliefs and doctrines. Well, my own little brother. So how do you get all of those people back? How do you get rid of the blood on your hands?
Exactly. See, this is a question that each and every single one of you that have turned in your disassociation letter, every single one of you that have been falsely accused of something like, Mike and Kim are apostates, or being disfellowshipped for anything. If Watchtower changed their policies right now, how many of you would go back? Honestly, I ain't going back because there's nothing to go back to.
Whitewashed graves and dead men's bones? Full of dead men's bones?
Exactly. You've got nothing to go back to. There's only one person in this community that I could think of that'll go back to this organization. Only one. And I'm going to leave you guys to think about that.
Yeah. Now, along these lines, I want to mention that I was talking to our daughter last night, and she belongs to a cross-stitch group. They do it's kind of like embroidery, the cross-stitch. And she has become friends with several in that group. And she became friends with someone in England. And the reason is because this person's mom started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. And so they had that common, interest also. Well, Shyla's friend sees her mom's personality changing. Now, the thing is this this mom that is studying with JWs, she's a smoker. She can't quit. Right now, she is so paranoid and just freaking out and has so much anxiety because she can't get baptized because she's still smoking. But she's so afraid this is the beginning of the Great Tribulation and that she's going to die at Armageddon. So Watchtower, if she commits suicide, this blood is on your hands. See, and that's the point we're trying to make, this fear. And you guys want to watch a total piece of propaganda BS? Go to jw.org and the Josiah, there's 2 parts. It's love Jehovah and hate what is bad. I was looking for a specific thing in there to go in this video and I could not find it, but I could not finish, watching it. But it was very disturbing about, so gung-ho and, get rid of all the apostates and the intolerant. And they even say in there, one of the Baal priests even says how extremist King Josiah was. He was an extremist. Wow. But there is one little thing, I'm kind of getting off topic, but there is one little thing I want to show you from that. When they're like in the marketplace and they have all these idols all over, I want to show you, it's a subliminal image, but I want to show you. what does this look like? Yeah, I know. Mikey found the penis on the songbook.
Back of the songbook.
Well, Kimmy found, look what their idols look like. Okay, now, the thing is they could have made like a human-shaped figure for an idol. I mean, anything like that. Why have this penis-shaped idol?
See, and that's what you have to recognize, Jehovah's Witnesses, is that Watchtower is in control of every single scene that you see coming out of Watchtower's movie production studios. They are in control. They could have made a conscious choice to change those images, but they didn't. They didn't. They're hoping that you will not see them for what they really are.
And we've done many, many videos. You know, we even have a playlist. You can click on our our YouTube homepage playlist, and you can see subliminal images in there. We've done many, many videos,
Well, yeah.
and it never ends. You know, I still get emails of people sending me stuff. Thank you guys, because they're still putting it in their literature.
They're still putting it there.
And
it's-
obviously they're still putting it in their videos too.
And it's a conscious effort to do this. Just like the back of that songbook, it was a conscious effort to put that phallic right there.
Well, they had to make these clay figurines for their own video. So someone had to consciously make it look like that. Their art department, whoever made their little, you know, ceramic idols for their video.
So where's the conscience of the JW making that phallic symbol? Where's their conscience in all of this? They don't have one, because it's a business. This is a business decision to do this, because religion is a multi-billion dollar, maybe a multi-trillion dollar business.
Yeah. Now something else I just want to cover real quick, because I was actually looking for the Josiah videos, and I came across this in their recent, you know, what's new part of jw.org. Oy vey. Video conferencing for congregation meetings. Yes, this is right on jw.org, so you can show this to your JW family. It's right on their website.
Hey, Mom, remember what I told you several years ago? They're just becoming an online religion.
She got so mad at that, she blocked you, you know.
Of course she did.
She blocked our phone number.
That's right, because many Jehovah's Witnesses, my mother included, do not want to hear the truth.
Now, it's interesting because right underneath the pictures they have here, you know, everybody sitting on their couch at home, dressed up in their meeting clothes, looking at a little tiny tablet. How your donations are used. Oh, boy. Wouldn't you all like to know where every penny of your donations is going? I would. I really wish they would become transparent and tell you where every penny of your donation's going. You know, not the propaganda BS that they tell you, oh, to build kingdom halls in third world countries.
No.
Or for this here. Or, you know, to get set up to distribute food boxes. You know, I wish they would be honest and say, yes, you know, $200 million went out to pay child abuse lawsuits this year. But see, they won't do that, because then the Jehovah's Witnesses will stop donating, knowing that a huge chunk of their donations are going to pay these lawsuits. Oy vey. So back to the article. This was interesting because this told us so many things of what they don't say. June 26, 2020, so this just came out. Many governments around the world have required physical distancing and have canceled public gatherings. Jehovah's Witnesses are determined to comply with these requirements while continue to meet together safely. To do so, congregations have been using video conferencing apps such as Zoom to hold meetings. To provide a consistent and secure arrangement for our meetings, the governing body approved the use of donated funds to purchase Zoom accounts for congregations.
That's called the Kingdom Hall Fund.
This has proved to be of great assistance to some congregations that could not afford the typical price of a video conference account of $15 to $20 or higher. These congregations were often resorting to using free apps that place limits on the number of connections or do not provide adequate security. Because we know their Zoom was getting hacked into
That's right.
months ago. All congregations that use these organizational Zoom accounts benefit from the easy-to-use security settings and allowance of a large number of people to connect to each meeting. To date, over 65,000 congregations in more than 170 countries are using these accounts. Well, that's only about half, less than half of congregations, because didn't they say 119,000 congregations in their last year-end report?
I don't recall what those numbers are off the top
So
of my
then
head.
they go on to talk about all these third world countries. All right, what this told Mike and I is with them setting up these Zoom accounts, that tells us they are not planning on going back to the Kingdom Hall anytime soon.
No, and you've even heard Tony Morris, the turd, talk about, oh, maybe this is going to, be this way for the next couple of years. So, that's what you call inside information, right, Tony Morris? That's inside information. No, what they're doing, friends, is they are slowly but surely, and they're taking advantage of this current situation to speed up the program to become an online religion, just like the 700 Club. And all the while, they're going to be making billions of dollars selling your congregations, your kingdom halls, and the properties that you, friends, have donated so generously towards. They are going to take all of that property, they're going to take your buildings, and you're going to get comfortable watching the Jehovah's Witness 700 Club on your TVs, on your devices, whatever that may be. And guess what's going to happen, Watchtower? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Is that they're going to say, well, Sunday morning, let's you and I go fishing instead. We can just replay the Zoom meeting later. Or we can go over here and watch, my JW friend who put it up on the internet. I'm going to go watch. And then slowly but surely, as time progresses and creeps on, they're going to find more excuses not to tune in to your meetings. How do I know that to be fact? Because that's what happened to me, that's what happened to Kim and I. Let me phrase this properly. Because you see, because of Kim's health problem, we can only get the telephone tie-ins. So we would sit right here and listen to the telephone tie-in, and it's like,
fall asleep.
Well, not only that, it's like, you know what? I got a couple of knives that I need to go make, and let's face it, Jehovah's Witnesses, you could only hear the talk. Let's reach out for the real life so many times. Over 40 years, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that talk. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that talk upside down, forwards, backwards. I know that talk. Why do I want to sit here and subjugate myself to something I've heard 1,000 times already? I wouldn't. So you find other things to do, and that's what's going to eventually happen over your TV broadcasting.
Well, the last two paragraphs on their article here on jw.org, I just want to read real quick. Johnson Wanza, an elder in the Nyerere North Congregation in Zambia, writes, many brothers and sisters have repeatedly said the organizational Zoom arrangement not only makes us feel closer to our brothers and sisters, but it makes us feel loved and cared for by Jehovah. So this is a blessing from Jehovah.
Really? I want to challenge that. How can you feel closer when you don't have any real human contact? When you can't shake your brother's hands or give them a welcoming hug? How does being on Zoom make you feel closer? It's isolating you.
You know what else? Zemos have been telling me that when you sign into this, they assign you to a group after the meeting to, get a little chat and get to know one another, you don't get to choose who you talk to after the meeting. They put you in a specific group. They choose who you get to talk to and associate with. So if you have a friend in the congregation, you can't go talk to them on Zoom in the chat room after the meeting. No, they're separate little groups, and they assign you to one of those after the meeting. How controlling is that? Now, the last paragraph. These organizational accounts are purchased using funds budgeted for disaster relief. Who would have thought when you guys are donating to their disaster relief fund that you're actually paying for Zoom accounts for everybody?
Well, here's the thing. What if a real disaster hits? What if a real disaster hits? Say back in some island state. What is Watchtower going to say then? Whoops, sorry, we don't have the relief funds to help you because we invested in Zoom.
Yeah.
Come on.
Such funds are supported by voluntary donations to the worldwide work. Many of these donations are made via donate.jw.org. Thank you for your generous contributions which also assist with other relief efforts around the world.
And there you have the Watchtower propaganda BS. See, what a blessing from Jehovah. Now let's make sure we keep donating to Zoom so we can continue to have our online state religion.
Yeah. And I want to thank everybody for your overwhelming response about the food distribution going on. And yes, we have heard they are already distributing boxes. We know of a JW pioneer that showed up at her mom's house with several boxes of food and said this was donated by farmers. So she left out the part, about the organization. The thing is many organizations and food pantries and churches are distributing this food. This is a good thing. This is real charity work of helping your fellow humans. So why would Watchtower want to keep this quiet? They should be proud that they're doing charity work for a change now and helping their members with real charity work. Preaching and teaching the Bible worldwide is not a charity work.
That's right. That's not charity. Anybody can pick up a Bible, go on the internet, and do whatever type of research they feel inclined to do so.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then we do charity work too.
Well, here's the thing. Knocking on a door on any given day of the week, and, if you heard the good news of the Bible, Jehovah's going to kill you. That's not charity work. That's instilling fear. That's not charity.
So all I'm saying is Watchtower should not want to keep this quiet. They should be proud. Well, it's not quiet anymore. They should be proud that they're finally doing charity work. But it also brought up another question that Mike and I were talking about the other day. After we did that video, it's like, oh, wait a tick. On their charter, their tax forms, anything you can think of, they have listed as their charity work to keep their charity status. Preaching and teaching the Bible, helping their neighbors learn about the Bible. That is listed legally as their charity work. Well, since they can't do that right now, are they getting hammered, or are they afraid that they're going to lose their charity status now because they can't do that? They can't go out preaching and teaching the Bible right now because of the COVID pandemic. So are they afraid of losing their charity status? So this is why they have to do this. Because we know Watchtower doesn't do anything out of the goodness of that black hard thing in the middle of their chest.
That's right. Like I said in a previous video, hiding in plain sight. Religion is a snare and a racket. That comes right out of the mouth of one of your former presidents. And you all know, Jehovah's Witnesses, whose mouth that came out of. Religion is a snare and a racket. 3 times for emphasis. Religion is a snare and a racket.
Yeah. Exactly.
hiding in plain sight. You can't get any more plainer than that, Jehovah's Witnesses.
But it boils down to, look at what they testified to. And we know this is how they are. We've had enough dealings with elders for the past 50 years to know what they are really like. And these elders do more damage than, any of us could. And, when you watch their video on Josiah, you see how, staunch they are and intolerant of anything, any other beliefs or anything. And, you got to get rid of the apostates and the heretics. Well, we see that even in the XJW community.
Yeah.
If you believe something different, I'm going to mention an article I was reading on Berean Pickett's website, and it was a really good article. I tried to comment and contact you guys to ask you if I could, mention the article, but you have to sign up and register to even, make a comment or contact them as far as I could see. So, I'm not going to do that because then you get all kinds of emails and newsletters and stuff, and I got enough emails coming in. So I'm just going to mention the article. Very good article that someone wrote about Calvinism. They've got scriptures, and I was reading it. There's 2 parts, but it was a really good article, and I'm going to put the link down below to it because it's right on. It's right on. It's right in the Bible.
Here again, I've made this statement before, and it's probably worth repeating, especially for you Jehovah's Witnesses that are just now waking up. In this XJW community, there are ministers from other religions in here to recaptivate your mind. And they use the same fear mechanism that Watchtower has indoctrinated us all with. One of the sad things that I can see is there are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that become members of other churches, and they use that same mechanism. And one of them is a Calvinist. One of them is a self-proclaimed Calvinist. When I did my video, Who is Jehovah that I should obey his voice? Immediately, this Calvinist went to a group of other ministers. One of them confessed he was a Calvinist. You need to understand and research what Calvinism is, because they are here to trap you once again into that fear mechanism. And that's what you have to be cautious about, because you've left one high control group, and the agents of these other high control groups are there to snatch you once again, because they don't want you to be free mentally and or spiritually.
Well, what's so disturbing about that belief, and they can believe what they want, but don't come on our channel preaching it, because it goes totally against the Bible, where it says by the grace of God.
Calvinists go against the Bible.
And there's so many scriptures about, these people being declared righteous. Well, that goes against the Calvinist beliefs also, because you are born condemned and you die condemned, and you have to preach yourself out of hell, and you have to convert everyone else out of hell. Well, then what happens to grace, forgiveness? And this is the total opposite of what Jesus taught. He was about love and grace and forgiveness. Not according to this.
Not according to Calvinists.
You're condemned to hell, no matter what.
That's right. So understand, if you're just waking up, and be alert that there are those in this community looking to recapture you. And I've done videos on this. There's a set of scriptures in Peter. I forget if it's 1st or 2nd Peter. The whole thought line is that you're just escaping one system of things, and you're being drawn to another religious system of things with the promise of the path of righteousness, the path of truth. And that's the mechanism. You left, if you were not a born in, you left another religious system of things. I was a Catholic. Okay, we had a system of things. Our Father who art in heaven, Holy Mary, Mother of God. I gotta go to the priest and get my sins forgiven. And you say 3 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers and your sins are forgiven. You wake up to that nonsense when you study the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses. And what did the Jehovah's Witnesses promising you? I found the truth. I found the true religion. Well, these ministers from these other churches are in this community doing the same exact thing. Open your eyes to it.
And that's why we keep trying to warn everybody, especially so many of you who are waking up now and feel that you have to hurry and jump into another belief system.
Yeah, you don't
And
have to.
Like I keep telling all of you, first breathe. It's going to be okay. Time is on your side now. First, you need to get rid of the Jehovah Witness indoctrination. Because think about it. Our entire belief foundation is pulled out from under us when we wake up. That's very traumatic. Very, very traumatic. And it's very difficult for many of us. Mike and I cried for 2 weeks, because it is traumatic, especially for, those of us who were very, very young when, our parents became Jehovah's Witnesses. So your parents tell you this is the truth and that Jehovah is going to, give you a paradise to live in forever and a panda to pet and, have a lion to play with and stuff, and you'll be able to play with cobras and stuff like this. So
You'll
we
get your health back.
believed them. We believed our parents. We believed all these things from the platform. Mike and I were told that we would never grow old in this system. Guess what? We're getting up there.
We're getting up there.
He's pushing 60. So, that was a lie we were told our whole lives. And we don't want to see any of you fall into that.
Right.
So take your time, heal, get rid of the Watchtower. They're good at planting that in our minds, that indoctrination. So we need to get rid of that first.
And a lot of these religious charlatans are good at that because it's the mechanism of fear. It's the fear of God. It's a fear to speak out against the holy writ of God, the inerrant word of God. But unless you go back and study it for yourself and recognize what is in this book, you're going to be captured once again by fear. And like that scripture in Peter brings out, you're going to recognize that you're no better off, and in some cases you're worse off than in the beginning. Go back and find those scriptures in Peter and comprehend what whoever wrote that. Scholars don't believe that Peter wrote that, and I tend to agree with that, but there's wisdom in the words there anyhow.
But just be careful the minute anyone, I don't care who they are, says, I have the truth. I have this figured out.
That's right.
Run.
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 Yeah. You have a brain.
Yeah.
You know how to use it. Think of things for yourself.
And especially if you misled into thinking that, well, I joined this little sect because it means my eternal salvation. Like Kim said, run, because you are your own sovereign. You are in control.
This morning when I was sitting here drinking coffee and just thinking, something popped into my mind. Jehovah's Witnesses and Watchtower are so proud of those few little Bible students back in the 1800s that started studying the Bible, and they started meeting in little groups. You've heard about them. It's in the Proclaimer's book. C.T. Russell and those little, Bible students, the few little that started meeting in these Bible study groups and discussing the Bible. They're so proud of that. Oh, they found the truth by doing that. Well, when you find out the real truth, you find out that Russell took a little bit from each one of the churches and religions, even the Far East religions that he was
Yeah.
studying. But if Watchtower is so proud of those little, Bible study groups, then why did they get so critical to, don't get together in groups and discuss the Bible on your own?
That's right. Watchtower's put that in print.
So it's okay for C.T. Russell and those Bible students to do that, but you can't do that now?
Exactly.
That should raise a red flag and question. If you cannot question anything, then maybe you should be questioning these religious leaders.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to put the links down below to all of this that we've talked about. And we hope you have a wonderful week.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.